What's going on, everyone? I'm Robert E. Woods III, and today's topic is the solution exists. Let's jump into it. I don't think anyone can escape problems. Problems are as prevalent as the sun, air, and the moon, right? So when we think about that, I think it's important for us to think through every single problem and literally take note of it. Write it down or type it in the notes of your phone, or even put it in a spreadsheet. I think I'm about to do that today, actually, the spreadsheet idea. And think about the ways in which we can solve the problem. The cool thing about problems is the fact that the most chronic problems have solutions. Of course, it's unreasonable to think that we can reverse time, so we can't wallow in the past, as enticing as that may be, right? We have to focus on the future. So whenever we're introduced to a problem, the answer is born. An example might be, I really want to buy a house. Then you might run into a problem when you get a call from your loan broker or your realtor saying, hey, your credit score needs to be improved. It might take some time for the solution to be implemented and for your credit score to be improved, but the knowledge through that experience becomes wisdom, and you know that you'll find yourself in that house at some point, right? So another example is that you might feel like you almost had that one job. Every one of the interviewers was smiling and enjoying your presence. You crushed the interview and you just didn't get the job. But 2 to 3 weeks later, you have another offer. You have another interview. You have another interview, and then you have another offer. So you go from the problem of wanting another job to getting one, and then the cycle continues. Listen to what Rick Ross, one of the most dominant artists in hip hop and a very successful entrepreneur, has to say about problems.
Don't nobody care nothing about none of that shit. Everybody in the middle of a war, nigga. Everybody got obstacles. Everybody in this struggle. Every nigga you know, every nigga I know, everybody. Bring it to the table, baby. You ain't gotta have no money, ain't gotta be no money. It could just be your inspiration. It could be your ideas. You know what I'm saying?
Ricky Rose, the boss. Everybody's in a war. That when I heard him say that, I just felt so relieved. And I just love to hear people that are successful identify with concepts or principles that I already kind of think or feel, and that just reaffirms the fact that my path is headed on the right trajectory. If you're listening to this, I know you feel me. So when I was transitioning out of the military, I was incredibly nervous, as anyone would be when they're going through a major life or a lifestyle change. So the year before I got out, I carried a leather zipper folder or a binder thing with me everywhere I went, to the point that people made fun of me for it. It was kind of a running joke. And that folder contained all of my plans for when I got out, all of the things that I had to do research on. My out processing documents were in there. Also, my transition plan was in there. And I remember my father telling me from basically when I was a little kid, he would say so many times, buddy, life is all about planning. Planning. He would just say that over and over again.
Hey, Woodman, it's all about the planning. Planning, and more planning. Always about the planning, Woodman. All right? Talk to you later.
But I dedicated almost an entire year to my plan because I had a big problem. I didn't know exactly what was going to happen when I got out of the military. Long story short, everything worked out for the most part, and I didn't realize it at the time, but the solutions that I created for myself, they were essentially my form of protection. I had to armor myself with the information I needed to get to the next step. I was obsessed over it. I was just so obsessed over it. So when the things I planned came true, I was so excited. I wanted to tell everyone I knew how to do exactly what I did. I was like, why isn't literally everyone that's transitioning out of the military doing this? I just tripled my income within like a couple months. And that's what led to my crusade to help veterans land jobs in tech and finance through educational programs similar to what I did. And it's likely that you have a problem right now that could be making you pretty stressed out, but you don't necessarily have to be stressed about the specific problem because the solution exists. The solution exists within you and your spirit. Maybe from a few hours of research on the internet and just some introspection, you can really get a hold of what the problem is and then eventually find that solution in due time. So all I really want to say is you got this. You already have the answer. The solution exists. So let's take a deep breath of gratitude. 4 counts in, 4 counts out. 2, 3, 4, and let's continue to boss up. So thank you for listening to the Robert Woods podcast. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.